What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got Albert, good morning to you. Cheryl, good morning. We got Corey, Diane, good morning. Jeff, Jennifer, Joe, JT, good morning to Lauren. Lou's in the house, good morning to you. We got Marius, Martina, Mike is Peter, Tim, all my people out in YouTube land. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. And let's take a look at this chart from yes. Oh my goodness. I almost fell off my chair. Almost just fell off my chair. Just looking at it. Crazy, crazy. I think even just to put this in perspective, we did nothing but drop all day. We did nothing but drop all day in the morning up until probably 10:50 in the morning. Just straight on a 5-minute chart. The first time we saw a green can, I guess we got one little high wave indecision somewhere. That came in around 9:40, and then just it looked like it was going to be rough. Yeah, so we were even saying we're like, hey, 2024 seems like the year of the V shape. Like, I don't know. We were also kind of lining up with, if we're going back to where we were, I think we even like mentioned this briefly. We're like, you know what? It's not really a bad, just in terms of risk to reward. You have some clear levels down here of like, hey, I want to take a stab somewhere down here bullish. But everything, we were even breaking that Friday's VPOC. We were breaking everything. I was like, maybe we get down to like 538. But if we start breaking Friday's candle, I can't imagine we're going to be that strong for the rest of the day. So just throwing out maybe a bullish order somewhere or just buying some. I think we even said like 0 day. I almost did it too. I chickened out. But I was like, it looks so gross. But at the same time, risk reward. If you're wrong, and you just take a loss. If you're right, you could win pretty decently. So we were talking about that yesterday. We're like, yeah, what if? What if this ends up turning into a V-shaped recovery? And I was absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. We didn't have the V shape. We just had the Nike swoosh. We just went swoosh. But yeah, pretty crazy. And then after hours, nothing really crazy happened. It makes sense, but the fact that we didn't really sell too much shows me there's still a little bit of strength. If I'm breaking down where, at least on a small time frame, including extended hours, I have yesterday's VPOC. So if we come in for a retest, watch this 554.60 zone. See if we get some kind of bounce there on a 5-minute. I got my 100 EMA right into that zone too. Let's take a look at the daily. Where's the VPOC? So on the daily, we have VPOCs a little bit further when you take off the extended hours. That's going to take us down to 552.68. So unfortunately, we can make it all the way back down to 552.68, and it all still could be a retest. Interesting where we closed though. So or where we got rejected, right in this 555.49. Very, very strong area. Lou says, I did, but chicken out premium when 298 to 1253 per contract had 10. You wait, hold on. Lou says I did, but the chicken out premium. So you did pick up the contracts at 298, and then you sold it at 12, or you just watched it. That's a good move. That's a good move. 10 contracts on that. That's a lovely little day. Yeah, that's not bad. But yeah, we have big resistance that we're opening in front of today. Oh, you sold at 330. Oh, okay. You didn't hang in there for the roller coaster. I got you. Well, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't assume we would just not rip higher all day and not pull back at all. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I would I would take a stab that we just do nothing but sell off and then rip to new all-time highs almost. That's obvious. Ah, good win. Good win. But you got SPY. This is the spot I'm gonna watch. So if we can start breaking above this 555.50, we probably continue to rally. We do have the PPI numbers out there. They're essentially in line, but so was CPI. It was like CPI wasn't that crazy. The market was crazy, but nothing else. But yeah. I would assume, and this is always safe to do in the market, just assume everything. I would assume we could get a little pullback opening right below this resistance, providing we don't just gap up in the next 23 minutes and we're above this. Then I got my next target. If we get through this zone we're right now, next target for me would land us somewhere around 558.19. So we do have some more room higher. This is definitely a big level that we're at though. And then to the downside, the first spot I got to look for 552.74. The next one after that, if it breaks down, 551.51. We also have the 20 right there as well. So, and then after we go through all these levels, just write them down, and then just take that paper, throw it in the garbage because the market's going to do whatever is going to want to do, and none of these levels seem to be. We break through every level at this point. But Q, same thing. Nice little push on the Qs. Um, I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be this guy, but I might have to. This this candle that we put on SPY and Qs will be your candles for those if we break down situations. I think if we break down on the Qs, if we break down on the SPY, we start coming lower, which unfortunately is a long time away until we get to this is a big range. We were down on the SPY, we were down 1.3%. That's a big move. Closing up 1% for the day is wild. Is wild. But I would assume, and we'll probably have a little inkling prior that okay, we're getting a little bit weak, maybe even under the opening price. If you're looking to get some puts or something like that. Otherwise, what I would imagine would happen, just and it was 2 days in a row. We did this 2 days in a row. I think even at the first 15 minutes a day, I'm like, are we doing the same thing we did yesterday? We sell off a little bit and then we just rally. And I mean, we had a good rally 2 days ago, and not like the one we did yesterday though. But the Bulls are buying dips still. They're not out of the picture yet, and maybe only once we get to the actual rate cut does that happen. Peter says, just a side note from Europe, our central bank ECB has today announced a rate cut of 0.25. All right. Yep. So ECB cutting a little bit. I think Canada cut like a month ago. So Canada cut a month ago. We're just the last ones kind of hanging in there. And my guess would be after we cut, then everywhere else starts to get even more aggressive on their cuts a little bit. But Qs look good, still at the higher end range. We didn't really give anything back yet. So we'll see. Qs actually have a little bit more room to go, I think. I got one level over here, maybe holds us back. It's not really that important of a level. But 469.78, and then we start getting into I think a little bit higher, 471.58, and a bigger target would be 474.52. To the downside, you really want support somewhere around 467.09. Somewhere in that range. I'll even go 466.87. Give it a little extra room on it. If we start breaking that down, then okay, maybe we come back and we have kind of a reversal candle, and why not? Why not? Keep us guessing into Friday. So we'll see. All right, let's see. We got Apple, we got Nvidia. Let me know if you guys got other tickers that you want to see. I see a few more on the list as well. AAPL. Leonard says still real virtual demands. You don't even have to say it. You don't even have to say, yeah, it's just gonna be Bitcoin. It's just gonna be Bitcoin. Why do I feel like your position in Bitcoin is massive? I don't know. I don't know. Suspicions. My spidey sense is tingling. Um, Apple, I don't know. We have this 20 EMA right in front of us. I'm starting to see the Apple iPhone 16 commercials. And I don't know if you guys just noticed, but it's the same commercial for the iPhone 12. They didn't even change the commercial at this point. It's the same thing. So if we have a little bit of a retest, we're opening at the 20. I would think we could get a little pullback on this one. Maybe look to hold this 222.61. That's the first spot. I don't really even have a great risk reward on that one. I'll show you where we do have really good risk reward, but we got to use our Peter Pan imaginary brains for a second. But otherwise, it's 221.61. That could be a level. So if we get any type of pullback, great. Getting rejected at that 20 immediately, fine. A better spot to get in, 221.82 if we start to break down. But that, I think if we hit that level, we might be in for more of a chop day, unless we hit that level and V-shape recovery and do Nike swoosh right out of there again. Either or. My target's to the higher side, 223.65. So even if I'm waiting for that little tiny pullback on this one, at 223.65 is not going to give me a huge move. Where it becomes a huge move is if we start breaking above that. So if you think this level could break, and it's possible, we have strength in the market. We've had a big sell-off already. Then I think the next target takes us to 224.69, and then a big stretch target would be 226.29. So I don't know how strong some of this resistance is. This is also spots like this spot here is 223.65. We've already retested this now once. We got through it again twice. So that's a breakable level, and then that would take you up to the 224.62. So I'm not opposed to it. I would rather have the bigger kind of pullback just to get better risk reward on the trade, but I do like it bullish. And the question is just trying to figure out how to get into it. But we'll get that one higher on the list. If TradingView wants to do that, that'd be great. There we go. All right. The other one was Nvidia. Nvidia is right at the close. We've been bouncing back and forth. We were red about 5 minutes ago. We managed to go green again. Another resistance coming up on this one. We have not messed with this one yet, so I do think this is probably a stronger one. This is 118.79. Still about $2 to the higher side, which is interesting. And then if we could break that, I think the next level will take us to 221.31. Probably going to be an extremely important level. We do have, it's not quite a gap, but we do have some room up into probably 125.71. Again, pullbacks on this one. We didn't like, we still kept our VPOC at the low of the day yesterday. So that's not really that fantastic. We could see a big pullback on Nvidia. It's got potential. It's not really that much holding us in the way. But maybe and I think with that move yesterday, at some point you feel like you got to get some kind of retest, but maybe we get some pop out of the gate and then we start to fade. I don't know how this one's gonna play out, but I will say at the end of today, and I will be hosting the afternoon room today, so we can take a look at it then as well. But at the end of today, as long as we could get out VPOC, because this VPOC is not horrible. It's just at the low of the day, and then we did break through a couple others. Not this one quite yet. But if at the end of today we could get that VPOC up somewhere above some of those moving averages, that would put me in a direction that we're just gonna continuously fly even more bullish from here. If we close anywhere underneath some of those moving averages, the VPOC, I would still say we're still leaning slightly bullish, but I think it would be a little tougher. So it has a lot of room to pull back before really any support comes in on this one. But this market is incredibly. The bulls, I don't know. Are we still getting stimulus checks in the mail? Like how we buy everything. We buy it all. We got to see banks have been tough, but let's go to JP Morgan after this one too. That's a good looking hammer, Tim. A good looking hammer. You got a lot more volume on the sell off day, so this resistance is probably going to be strong. So 57.92. I would have to worry about. You got that 200 right there. Otherwise, swing trade perspective, maybe at a 5 wave count here. So maybe this is out 1, out 2, out 3, extended 4, 5. It kind of came down to a really good support on this one. Probably not the worst hammer in the world to try. The only thing I don't like is the volume on the day before. That volume right there. That gives really our confirmation that we're actually going to flip bullish above that candle. So we got to get above 60 and then we run into some moving averages too. but a really good hammer for Citigroup. Let's check out JP Morgan real quick. Are they doing something similar? Uh, they held this 200 like a champ. $200. Fairly good retests. This one I think has a little bit more room in it for day trade purpose. That could get you probably back into this 212.39 range. I'd probably want to see a little sell off on this one and then look for that support of 205.68 to hold. So the closer we could get in bullish to that, maybe we could throw a stop low of the day. And then JP Morgan, we have a little bit more room on. So if you're going banking and the hammer on City gives me a much better setup, but the range is a little tighter. Let's see. Let's get JP Morgan over here. We got AMD. Mhm. AMD. Ooh, 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 ooh. So that one's down. I mean, an incredible move yesterday. $10 candle. Closed at strong resistance. We are pulling back. We're at one little level of support. I think I'd want to see maybe at least a retest to 146.88. Again, if we retest yesterday's VPOC, that would take us down to 144.09. I don't know that I want that because that's going to take us back below that opening price. Probably a little tougher for a bounce, but maybe we get some kind of a pullback as we have some moving averages. And I don't know if we get here. Maybe that resistance is good. But I would say anything above 147. You guys remember I've been saying 2 days ago, I'm like, or yesterday I said it, I think the day before I said it, I was like, if you were sitting up here, you were looking for a good spot to try to get in. Yeah, somewhere down here is not a bad entry to go along. And then if you were one of those people that got in, the question is where are you taking gains? And I think somewhere up at this zone at making $10, maybe you have a target. And this is where I would probably throw my bullish target for today. Probably about 153.24 if we get up there. But maybe a little pullback first. I would consider a little high wave candle out of the gate, but we do have that 200 right where we closed yesterday as well. So maybe a little bit more chop on some of these. And again, after you have a big move like we did, like it's okay normally for stocks to rest. It messes us up as day traders. But all right, let me get to Bitcoin before real virtual demand writes me angry emails. Like I waited at least 20 minutes. We did not check out Bitcoin. Uh Bitcoin not a bad hammer from yesterday, hammerish high wave. The resistance we had to get above is 57,624. So we did get above it. Depending on where today closes, this could be a little bit of a bear trap. Otherwise, for right now at least, we were able to kind of break out of that last resistance. This could be a kind of a retest into it. And then we have the potential to do this. So maybe bullish on it. As long as we stay above here. You could probably go if you're trading this one, you could probably throw a stop in underneath the open for today. So the open for today, roughly 57,314. I would be okay getting stopped out there and then trying again, maybe if you want to go bullish somewhere back around 56,564. So if this is a breakout, we're at that retest now. Bitcoin could take off today. And then I think you got a decent risk reward if it does. Targets on Bitcoin, I don't really see much up until probably 59,164. So about almost 2K higher. All right. Let's see. DAL. But that was 10 minutes ago. Yeah, this is running, huh? This is running. How to play Southwest Airlines stock post Elliott induced board revamp. Is this a sympathy to Southwest today? U.S. government reportedly plans to require airlines to provide cash compensation for canceled. It's about time. They keep offering me free snacks in the vending machine. Like, here you go. Sorry you can't go to Europe to visit Peter, but here's a Hershey bar. You're like, oh, all right, it's not bad. Uh, that is quite the gap, though. Really good gap on this one. I mean, I don't really see too much news on it unless I'm missing something. Let's check this AI. Price to earnings PE ratio of approximately 7. That's low, except it's an airline, which not great. Increased airline travel, so get good gap up, really good resistance. This is a retest gap. I would almost look for this as a fade, to be honest. Get that on there for a potential short. We'll throw it right here. I don't know where I'm going to take my gains. 46.06 is the first level. Maybe we come back to 44.90, and then the stretch target would be a full retracement back to 44.20. But at that resistance, providing that we don't break through 46.92, I still like it as a retest to the short side. As soon as we start breaking through that, I got targets to about 48.37. But that is a monster move. All right, we got Meta. Meta, aka Facebook, aka Instagram, aka WhatsApp, aka Lizardman. So we got our little retest gap from yesterday. See if we get a pullback. I don't think I'm expecting a big one though. First spot of a pullback, 515.11. Maybe we get down to like 514.41, and then last level I think for this retest that I'd want to see hold is 514.06. So if we get a little pullback there, I wouldn't mind trying this one bullish. Target's a little bit rough. I would say 518.25. If we can get above that, next level up is about 519.83. But I kind of like the price action on this one, to be honest. So small pullback. Maybe we get the high wave candle out of the gate, and I'm down. I'll probably try that one bullish. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. Major resistance up here. Uh, Strong candle. Volume has just been okay. I guess the last big candle, which we did get a close above, is the candle from the September 3rd. So we did close above that. If you're gonna try it bullish, I would at least wait for a little pullback into 169.27. But we're right back into that chop zone. Targets to the higher side. The first one at least is 171.61. If we could break through, that would probably take us back to this 174.36 zone. We might be on a little bit of a chop on TSM. We'll work this one on the list a little higher too. I do like that bullish candle though. I mean, it's nothing short of incredible. X has always been tough for me. I don't know. I don't know with X because then they have the buyouts and the no buyouts. You're still in the situation, I think, now where I believe the buyout is off the table. No matter who the president is, I think they're both candidates are kind of saying like this deal probably shouldn't happen. So I think that's gonna be rough. You do have a retest gap. If you're going bullish, I'd be waiting for 32.40 with targets into probably this 35.63 zone. So see if you get a little pullback on this one first. The other thing I don't know is if you're going with a fib on this one, you're probably right at the 618 where we closed yesterday, probably right where we're opening today. So I think you still have, regardless of the technicals on this one, I think you still have a lot of the potential news cycle. Lots of volume below you. We did get a good bounce off the 31. So again, just on the nothing but charts without taking into account of like maybe some sad people that the deal didn't go through, or most likely not going through. I think you'd have probably 32.23 gives us some good volume. And we are in a zone where there's not really much holding us back up until this 36.32, kind of like what we said before. So I would like to probably on a technical basis like to be more bullish than bearish, but trying to buy that a little bit lower. mRNA doing something different. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We're in no man's land. They're the only people on the planet hoping COVID comes back. Like, come on. Come on, COVID 2.0. They're the ones generating the monkeypox news too, I think. But yeah, that looks short. That looks pretty short. Nothing really holding us up. We are trapping some bears. My question is, are we already gapping too much? So maybe see if this thing can get bought up a little bit. But I think for this one, you're just trying to pick your entries to go short on this, where you can get in. A really good spot is if we get back up to like 72.35. I don't want to play it for the fade higher. Yeah, I could also see 69.38 if you get a bounce into that, $70, maybe a good level too. But just pick your wait for a 10 EMA to go bearish. I don't like anything about it bullish at this point. Mike says I bought 141 calls expiring tomorrow. Those are probably up a little bit. I would assume. Tesla. Tesla. I mean, it kind of had a wild day, like everything else, but there was a lot of stocks that were up pretty decent. The Tesla had a little bit of a struggle bus. So I don't know how strong it was. I do have this resistance somewhere up at 228.96. I still got my calls. They just missed me taking me out yesterday by a few dollars. So that was kind of annoying. So I still have those. Otherwise, if this one wants to come down, which is the gap and go to the bear side, I would be looking for this 223.18, maybe 223 even, somewhere right around that zone as your support. If that starts to break, we do have some levels of support below us, but be patient. Maybe we end up coming. I don't know if we come all the way back down to 217 today, but I would be curious to see if maybe we hit 221.29. But two levels of epoch, this 223 zone should be very strong on it. Really good close yesterday. Again, the problem is 228.96. And as we get close to it, we're running into that pretty decent resistance. But we are already pulling back a little bit. I don't really want to go short on Tesla. Not yet. Not yet. I guess if you wanted to at the end of yesterday, you're going short somewhere and stops would be 234.41. But and then stretch target for today, if we could get past that first resistance we talked about, right around 229, we could see targets into 231.49. So that still gives us a decent room to the higher side, but I would like to buy it as close as possible. How was that bell ringing already? That's bizarre. That's nuts. That's too crazy. No, I wasn't ready. I got scared actually a little bit. But everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Unfortunately, this is where we disconnect. But